So many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so we gave Twig a call. Now they're bringing on the friends, and together they will view these. So sit back and relax. It's Twigs Missing Movies.
Hello and welcome to Twigs Missing Movies, a show dedicated to watching the movies that Twig inexplicably hasn't seen. I'm your host, Drayfrig, and here is our cinematically curious Corvus Twig.
Hello, everybody. Happy Pride Month is June, and everything's so gay, and we love it.
Everything's extra gay this month. So
Yeah.
just gay it up. If you're caught being straight, sorry, we're calling the FBI. And you know how they've been recently.
Oh boy.
So keep that in mind.
I mean, is autism on the LGBTQI? Is that what the A?
It's not on the gay spectrum. Sorry, it's on a different spectrum.
Damn it.
It's like UV light versus infrared, right? They're two different spectrums.
I mean,
There's a little crossover, but they are two different spectrums.
They are. Well, it is interesting how there are a lot of people who are non-gender conforming, gender fluid, trans, who are also autistic. And I think something about it is because people on the autism spectrum kind of see the gender binary for what it is. And so...
Bullshit.
Yeah. So they end up being less likely to conform to it because they see that most gender norms are made up.
For sure. And also on top of that too, right? Neurodivergency often makes you feel like an outsider, and there's obviously some merit to nature versus nurture, right?
Yeah.
Especially in the attractions we get. And so if you're neurodivergent, and I'm not saying this is the case for all of them, but if you get more love out of people of the same gender or who are genderqueer, you're going to end up being more attracted to those people romantically and sexually than the opposite gender. Obviously not the case for everybody. Obviously there's a lot of science out there, and we're not going to get into the conversations that go around and all of that, because it can get pretty tight and nuanced, and that nuance we don't have time for here.
So much nuance. But I mean, I don't know, I usually feel more comfortable around queer people than I do around other cishet dudes. Typically
I feel more comfortable around people who espouse and live by their ideals rather than any one group or another. But I will say that I do end up having more gay friends than not. The funny little joke being I'm the litmus test for if you're trans, neurodivergent, or gay curious, or bi curious, because as it turns out, a lot of people spend enough time with me and they're just like, wow, Dre, I have to tell you something. I've not told anyone else that. And I'm like, what is it? They're like, I think I'm trans. And then I go, neat. That's great. Why does this keep happening to me? Is there something about me? Is there something about how I conduct myself? I don't know.
Well,
but
personally, I've thought about it, and there's times where I'm like, am I non-binary? Because I feel like, there's a lot of aspects to being a man that I do not conform to. But I've come to the realization that I think I'm definitely still on the identifies as a man, he, him side of things.
Yeah.
But I'm close to the line. But what I've really come to realize is that there's a million different ways to be a man. There's a million different ways to be a woman, and there's a million different ways to be somewhere in between. And you don't have to conform to a society's set way of being things to still be a man. Like, I don't have to like big trucks. I don't have to like guns and sport. I mean,
you don't have to like the Green Bay Packers. It's fine.
Well, I mean, you know what I mean? It's just like, I'm just a different kind of man. One who is a little more comfortable with feminine leaning things.
And I mean, again, we're not going to be here to discuss all the nuance, but to that point too, is like, I don't think there's anyone on this planet that doesn't struggle with their gender identity. Even the people who are like, I'm super masculine, they struggle with it too, right? Because gender identity and gender roles, right, which is where the gender division really comes from, right, predate a lot of society, and people who are afraid of change tend to cling on to stuff a lot harder,
Like
right?
the Klingons.
Like the Klingons.
They cling on to
Uh,
it.
or vice versa, they try to abandon it almost completely, right? So there's a lot of there's a lot of nuance that goes into gender identity, and I don't think there's anyone on this planet that doesn't struggle with it on some level or
Oh yeah.
hasn't thought about it in some way, shape, or form, right?
Well, the number
Um,
one consumer of gender affirming care is cis people.
it's cis people and cis men, especially with hair plugs and male pattern baldness reversal. I mean, we have an entire bias in medicine because men cannot refuse natural aging, right?
Mm-hmm.
Um, and I don't know. It is something to behold. But besides all of that, happy Pride, everybody. It is also our 2 year anniversary of this show. It's a little late. We know a lot has been going on
It's
in
our
life.
26-month anniversary.
It's our 26-month anniversary of the show, and so we have kind of a special one for you today. But before we get onto that, I really want to thank everyone for supporting us for the past 2 years and for the past year, especially with our little bit more of a sporadic scheduling because of my schooling. Hopefully that will be a little bit more consistent going forward. We'll find out. I'm still jobless as of right now. Hopefully that'll change very soon. Um, but we'll keep you guys updated. Twig, you got anything to say for the 2 year?
Just that I've really enjoyed these last 2 years. And I think you're the best co-host a bird could possibly ask for, and my fans are the best fans I could ask for. And I especially want to thank all of the wonderful people who have come on. And if you're a VTuber watching this and you want to come on, we'd love to get to know you a little bit more. But I mean, obviously, this is a show that I, started, but it's a show that I can't do without other people. Um, I don't think of this so much as my shows. I think of this as our show, and
Mm.
I'm very happy I've been able to make it do a thing, and I have a lot of fun doing it. Even when I watch movies that I may not like, I still have fun talking about them.
Oh, I do too. I mean, you know me. I love watching movies, um, and they're such a critical part of my life. I never realized obviously I know that they're a part of my life, but I always forget how critical they are because I went to go see um the Beaver movie. What's it called? The Disney
Hoppers?
one. Hoppers. Yeah, I saw Hoppers with my mom, and then my mom and I had an hour and a half long conversation after the movie about the movie, right? And I'm like, oh, that's why I like talking about movies so much is because this is what we would do on our way home from watching any movie as a family. We'd sit in the car ride, however long it was, talk back and forth about what we liked, what we didn't like, what we thought could be done better. And part of growing up too is realizing that not everyone's done that. Not everyone likes conversations where you pick out what you like, pick out what you don't like, and what things could have been done better. There's a lot of conversation these days about just enjoying something and not trying to critique it. Um, but that's not how I've ever enjoyed movies.
I mean, for
And I've
some,
I've
yeah.
tried to impart that on you through the last 2 years, and I think you're starting to get it.
What?
Um, I
Are
think
you
you're starting to
implying
get
that
it.
I didn't get it? That I was just, oh, I just watch movies? I've always enjoyed analyzing
No. But
movies.
I think your skills to critique it have improved,
Well,
right?
I mean, yeah,
I would
doing the
I would say
show.
that when we first started, your critiquing skills were a little hampered by your lack of movie watching in comparison, right?
I mean, make it sound
And
like I
as
never watched any movies before this
no,
show.
I'm not trying to say that, but I am trying to say that I felt like some of our early conversations, if we were to have them again, they would be much more in depth and much more nuanced. Because I think you've seen some of those predecessor movies, right? That a lot of other movies get based off of, a lot of other movies and shows reference. And once you it's like any skill, right? Once you know where the baseline was, you can understand and develop beyond that, right? Like tasting whiskeys, right? First time you taste whiskey, you're just gonna taste oak, right? But
Yeah.
as you taste other whiskeys and you learn about them and you learn about what goes into making them, you can go back to those original whiskeys you had and appreciate them on a deeper level.
Yeah. Well, I
That's what I'm trying to
suppose
get
I
at.
suppose the movies that we've covered are probably fit best into that are probably Rocky Horror and The Sting.
The Sting.
The Sting
Um,
especially as a movie that really, influenced, but Boy, this week, if we're talking about influential movies,
Oh man, we're talking about influential movies here,
we're talking about the influential movie. The
and
movie
we
that
mean
the
the
movie that almost kind of invented the art of cinematography.
almost, but not
Almost.
quite.
Not
But
quite,
it
but
definitely gave it a new birthing.
yes.
It rebirthed cinematography, and I think on the whole, I don't want to sound too crazy here. I think it's what saved cinema as a genre of human entertainment. But we're not here to discuss the history of cinema. We're here to discuss the movies. And the movie that we're talking about, folks, if you haven't put it together by now, is Citizen Kane. Orson Welles' Citizen Kane.
I almost threw up
Um,
Birth of a Nation. Wait, no, we're not covering
uh,
that.
um,
Well, we're not because I've actually seen that movie.
yeah, no,
In
but
a film
this
class
is
that we studied. It's bad, but Citizen
it is.
Kane,
It's not good.
from what I always heard,
It
is good.
it is the pinnacle of movies insofar as every critic in the world has seen this film. Every critic in this world will have nothing but praise for this movie, and I really do think that that'll be the case here too. Um, it's directed and written by Orson Welles, along with Herman J. Mankiewicz, starring Orson Welles, obviously, Joseph Cotten, Dorothy Comengrower, Everett Sloane, Ray Collins, George Coulouris. I can't pronounce that last name, among many others. It was edited by Robert Weiss, music by Bernard Herrmann, and produced by RKO Radio Pictures and Mercury Productions. It was released on May 1st, 1941 at the Palace Theater, which many of you might recognize as one of the big theaters from back in the day that is still around to this day.
Yay!
And then got a wider release on September 5th, 1941. Coming in at $1.8 million, right? 1941 dollars. 1.8 million 1941 dollars. It had a budget of about 840,000 US dollars at the time. So pretty good differential there, especially for the time, considering that the economy was in a much different state than now.
I mean, it came out during World War II.
It came out during World War II. We were, I can't remember the dates of the Depression, but I think it was like early mid Depression at that point. But this is a movie that everything draws from camera angles to lighting to sound to makeup and costume design and set design. This movie really catapulted cinematography from just, it was considered art before, but this really made it a fine art in a lot of people's minds, and birthed a whole new slew of directors and actors who were chasing that high that Citizen Kane brought.
Would like calling it like the first prestige movie be accurate?
I honestly couldn't say, because I can't, like, off the top of my head. I know there are other movies that came out around the same time
I
that
mean,
also
I do
have
believe
had such a large effect.
What? Wait, was Gone with the Wind was after this, right?
Yes, yeah. Gone with the Wind was like 50s, 60s time frame.
Yeah. Okay.
Back when the people who were in the war were finally old enough to be making the movies about the war, right? The movie, I don't know. It predates a lot of what we've known, and it won an Academy Award for Best Original Screenplay. Had a bunch of nominations for its movie itself. It's got New York Film Critics Circle Awards for Best Film. It has a bunch of other, like, I won't say posthumous, but much later on in its life, there were a bunch of shenanigans you could pull to get movies that were older reevaluated for awards. So it does have a DVD exclusive awards for Best Audio Commentary by Roger Ebert. It has a National Board Review Best Film and Top 10 Films awards. Won and Best Acting for George Coulouris and Orson Welles. It is in the National Film Preservation Board under the National Film Registry. So it is a film that even the United States of America recognizes as culturally important enough to preserve.
And there's many top movies of all time lists in which this is in the #1 spot.
Yep. And you'll see why. this is a movie that I'm actually I'm rather shocked you haven't seen because I had to watch it in my English class in high school. Um, sorry, not English. U.S. government class in high school. Because our teacher was, he was a little bit of a hippie. But he was like, I want you to understand kind of the time frame, and and I know that you have an assignment reading Orson Welles' other books and judging his media. So I want to give you something that I think is relevant. So Twig, all of this being said, why haven't you seen Citizen Kane?
Well, I mean, I feel like the place I would have most likely seen it would have been school. I even took a class that was like the history of film class, and we did not watch
Yeah, that's
this movie
shocking.
in it. I know.
That's shocking. That's like a fumble of all times.
I know. We didn't watch Casablanca either.
What?
Casablanca.
What?
That other big old famous old movie, you know, playing
How did you
against
pronounce
Sam.
that?
Casablanca. I'm saying Casablanca weird.
Oh my god! Even when you write corrected, it's wrong. Casablanca.
Casablanca.
Casablanca. Home. White home.
Yes. But yeah, it's just like, well, for one, it did come out, you know, oh my god.
Almost 100 years ago.
1941.
Almost 100 years ago.
But it came out 45 years before I was born. I'm
Yeah.
41.
Yeah.
I'm almost as old as this movie was when I was born.
I hate to tell you this, Twig, but
It hurts.
you've been the age of a lot of movies that.
I know.
That's how time works.
Yeah. But
now imagine,
so I never watched
until
it in
you
school, and it's not exactly the kind of film that you're going to be putting on with your bros.
I don't know. I watched it with friends.
Yeah, well, you have different friends than I did, so.
That's fair.
And it's just one of those things. It's just like, yeah, I've always wanted to see it, but I've just never really sat down and watched it. But I'm really looking forward to watching it.
Yeah. Fumbles from your filmography teacher aside, what do you know about Citizen Kane?
Rosebud. So I have watched the episode of The Simpsons with the teddy bear. So
Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I've seen parody upon parody upon parody of Citizen Kane.
Talk about one of the most satirized and parodied films of all times.
Yeah. I mean, I know that Rosebud is his sled from when he was a child. And that's like the big reveal at the end. Spoilers for an 85-year-old movie. I know
more spoilers for you here. You're the only one who hasn't seen it at this point.
I know that the main character's name is Charles Foster Kane. I know that he is a politician.
Yeah.
And so I know that the story kind of follows his political and life career, basically starting as a poor child. I think a poor child? I don't know if he was a poor child. So now we're getting into prediction territory. But I think it's basically his rise from rags to riches, I believe.
Yeah. Okay, so I mean, again, this is one of those movies that's really hard to avoid. They're like being spoiled on, right? Because it's such a platform that other media has built off of. And like I said, it's one of the most parodied and satirized movies of all time. The Simpsons have done an episode. Futurama's done an episode. Every cartoon adult show under the moon has had an episode reflecting something about Citizen Kane. There have been tons of TV shows that have done the same. Star Trek had an episode that kind of mimicked Citizen Kane. So it's hard not to know at least something about it.
Yeah. I have a feeling that many times during the rewatch, I'm going to be doing the Leonardo DiCaprio meme where he's pointing at the TV.
Yeah, 100%. Trust me, it's 100%. There's gonna be things that I'm gonna point out too, right? Because I've only seen it a handful of times, and mostly when I was younger. I haven't watched it in probably 20 years now. Not 20. Fuck, I'm not even that old. God. At least I think the last time I would have watched it when I was 20, so about 11 years ago.
Okay.
Which is, if you ask me, it feels like 20 years ago. But yeah, so all that being talked about and said, Twig, let's go into your predictions, because I'm curious, because you kind of started doing that earlier, but
Yeah.
couldn't really help it, right?
So this happened in the Simpsons episode, but I don't know if it actually happens in this movie. So I'm going to say Kane is adopted as a young boy by a well-to-do family. So I think he'll be like born poor, but then he gets adopted and is well-to-do family. I am going to predict that we see a little bit of his youth, and I'm going to predict that Kane excels in school and is even valedictorian of his class. I'm going to predict that.
Okay.
I'm going to predict that Kane marries young, and his wife is a big part of his rise to glory. I'm going to predict that Kane is elected to the U.S. Senate. I'm going to say that he makes it all the way up to senator. Kane will run for president of the USA. I'm going to do actually a lot of predictions, a little shorter ones, but they're going to be more predictions this time. So I'm going to say he's going to run for president, and that's going to be a big part of it. The presidential run will put a huge strain on his relationships, causing him to lose his wife and several friends. And he will lose his bid for U.S. president. He will die rich but alone. So that's 8. We don't normally do 8, but they're kind of short. But those are.
And it's kind of a special episode.
Yeah.
Well, Twig, these are all very interesting predictions, and all we have to do now is watch the film. So everyone sit tight, and we'll be right back.
And see you soon.
And we're back!
We're back! Oh my god, we're back! Hey, we're live with Twigs Missing Movies for the first time in like a while.
Several months. It's been... No, that's not true. That's not true. It's been about a month.
eBay wasn't on that long ago. Yeah.
No, it wasn't that long ago. But it feels like a long time. A lot has happened in that time. I've moved back to the States. I'm back in the States now. I have a job again. Stuff's going on. We have this show.
You had a baby?
2 year anniversary. No,
baby.
I would have eaten that egg so fast.
I was at the zoo the other day, and I saw that the flamingos were incubating eggs. And I asked one of the zookeepers, like, "Oh, when are they gonna hatch?" And she's like, "Never. Those eggs are wood."
Birds are dumb sometimes when it comes to eggs. I'm gonna be real, guys. You can drink those fuckers. They're pretty dumb.
Turns out all of the flamingos at the Minnesota Zoo are males, but the males will build nests and incubate the eggs, so they don't know no better.
Still better dads than a lot of human dads.
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Yeah, be a flamingo. Don't be a hummingbird,
guys.
Don't be a hummingbird if you're a father.
Yep. Well, guys,
we watched Citizen Kane.
Yeah, and we watched Citizen Kane, and I want to thank. I think I said it in pre-recording, but I want to thank everyone who's joined us this entire time, who's been here, watched every episode, either here while it's streamed or on YouTube. I know Twig hates the word, but I really do love this podcast, and I can't wait to see what movies we do next.
Hey, I'm fine calling it a podcast.
Finally.
Look, since the last episode we had, I had the opportunity to meet Scott Aukerman, who runs Comedy Bang Bang, best friends with Paul F. Tompkins. And I was telling him about Corvus Twig. And he's like, oh, so what kind of streams do you do? And I basically said, oh, yeah, I have a show that's basically a direct ripoff of your show. He took it with good humor. I mean, I didn't say it like that. I said like, oh, I've got this show that's completely, nobody's ever done anything like it before. It's where me and my co-host have a guest on who picks a movie I've never seen before, and we watch it and discuss it. And he just like... I think he rolled his eyes a little, but it's just like, yeah, whatever. He doesn't own the concept of watching movies and talking about it. That's existed for as long as podcasts have existed.
And I mean, we're all white guys here, right? We're all white. We understand what we're doing.
White guys talking movies, it's a thing.
White guys talking about their opinions. Wow.
Well,
that's so original.
It is kind of funny because there are a lot of movies that have been talked about on both Twigs Missing Movies and Twigs and Scott Hasn't Seen, like Rocky Horror. Legally Blonde, absolutely. Major Pain.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to avoid talking about movies without talking about the greats and the worsts, right?
Yeah.
And there's going to be a lot of overlap between his show and ours, and obviously his show is going to have far more viewers than we will have for the foreseeable future. We hope that changes, right? You guys should tell your friends, tell your fucking friends and family to watch our show. I swear to God, I'm going to start pecking out eyes here soon. But I think what's fun though is that we're doing this as amateurs, right? We're not accredited in any formal method for our knowledge on cinematography or comedy, right? We're just everyday guys.
Yep.
Right? And in the most positive sense of the word, right? We're just everyday guys.
Yep.
We're every Joe Schmo that's on the street. But we are unique because we're birds on the internet, actually.
Yeah,
that's
we're birds.
Our real identity,
we're birds.
Right?
We're just guys in the sky.
No, I don't know. I as I was telling Twig before you guys started hearing us, I took a job at Best Buy. I'm selling home theater equipment, and I didn't realize how much my love of cinematography would help me there until you have to start talking to people about this movie. Well, imagine this, but in like 4K and with 1,000 better colors than what it's on your current TV. And this knowledge is lost on a lot of people who come in and just like, I want sport big. And that's it.
I mean, sport big is nice,
Sport big is nice, but like, I don't know. I could not imagine spending $4,000 on a TV for just sports. Right, but maybe that's just a me problem. Maybe that's
Speaking of sports, I didn't even see, is the Stanley Cup over yet? Oh, no. It's like, there's a game going on right now.
Yeah, there's a game going on right now. And the Knicks just won their first championship in God knows how long.
I mean, okay, right? So like a year ago on the campaign trail, Mom Donnie was talking about somebody, and they said, can you promise a Knicks championship in your first term? And he's like, I guarantee it. Campaign promise kept.
I can't believe we have politicians delivering on promises this year. Crazy times we live in. Crazy times. No, I don't know. I just I really like movies. I'm really excited for the next year of Twigs, but we're not here to discuss what's coming in the future. We're here to discuss kind of the past and the now.
Our oldest movie we've ever covered, and maybe the oldest we ever will cover. Maybe.
I don't know. I think we got some choice movies that could outrank this, but not many. We're talking about Citizen Kane like we talked about. Twig, I want you to start with a synopsis of the movie from your point of view, and I want you to answer the very basic question. How many references did you fucking see? How many things did you recognize from references?
I mean, I lost count. I wasn't counting, but it was a lot. I mean, yeah, the general synopsis of the film is Charles Foster Kane dies in his big mansion, Xanadu, which is kind of a funny name for it.
But anytime you've ever heard Xanadu, how many times have you heard the word Xanadu before?
I mean, I've heard it a lot. Didn't realize it was from this. But anyway, he drops a snow globe and says the word rosebud. And then people tell him like, oh, this man, he had a huge life. And, we know so much about his life and everything he did. But we don't really know what this mysterious word rosebud actually means. It's the big thing. And so we have a journalist who's like, all right, well, it's my job to find out what does rosebud mean. And then it kind of goes, and it's kind of and this is probably something that's a little bit groundbreaking for this, is that the movie is not in chronological order. You see the journalists go from person to person, and they talk about basically the parts of their lives in which they knew Charles Foster Kane. And so you see him as a young man, middle-aged man, old man, from the perspective of several different people. But the general part of it is that, yes, he was adopted as a young child. He, was raised into wealth, but he didn't want to just inherit, the business that his adopted father had. He wanted to make something of himself, and he wanted to go into the newspaper business. And he starts off with this pledge about always being honest, always telling the truth, and always holding up to the utmost highest principles of journalism. Then we have middle-aged one, where he's completely abandoned every single one of those things, and has basically turned the magazine into a propaganda rag for himself and his own interests, and eventually his own campaign for governor, but then also to completely promote his completely mediocre at performing wife, and, acting like she's the biggest thing in the world, when, she's not bad, but she's not star power good, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
We see how his first marriage falls apart, and we then just kind of see how, because of all the pressure that he put on a second wife, she ends up leaving him because of the failed, and because of that wife. Could you imagine a scandal like that killing somebody's chances for politics these days? Oh, this politician had this politician had a mistress. Oh, that tanked him in the polls. It's like, oh God. Like
this politician has had 7 wives. I'm gonna vote for that guy.
Yeah.
What?
But I mean, there was, and then eventually, he loses his friends, he loses his family, and then he dies alone in Xanadu, and the reporter never finds out what Rosebud is. But then in the scene, they're basically going through all of his possessions, and they're taking all the things that they think are worthless, and one of them is this old sled, and we see it go into the fire, and we see the words Rosebud. So it was a sled all along. But the journalists never found that out, because it's one of those things that nobody else could have possibly known that's what it was, because nobody else would. The whole thing is it's going through but like the people that knew him throughout his adult life aren't the people that knew him as a child. And, it seems like he always wanted to cling to that childhood innocence before his world was changed. Is that what you wanted? Do you want? I'm sure.
Pretty good. That was a really good synopsis. And leads me to like my first point here is that there's a lot of movies, in my opinion, that try to bring up the innocence that's hidden within men, and how much men cling to what little innocence they were allowed to have.
Men only want one thing, and it's disgusting.
And it's to be softer than they are. And I think every movie in the world has tried to do what Citizen Kane has done in that regard, right? And I think it's the one thing that is very hard to parody or mimic, because of how much they show Kane, right, Charles, like fucking up in his entire life. They show not just like a stage and a series of issues. They show multiple stages out of order, right?
Mm-hmm.
And it's incredible to watch as you watch this man, descend through the litany and the problems of being a politician, which at the time, again, I need to say it, like how much has our life changed, that things that would have tanked a career not even 20 years ago are things that people get lauded for now, right? Like one divorce would have put anyone trying to run for president behind whoever they were running against. Not even in the early 2000s, right? let alone multiple marriages, right? And especially at this time too, when marriage and divorce were not a right. They were a punishment.
Yeah.
And fuck you if you were a woman at this point, right? You would lose everything. Right?
I mean, yeah, women weren't allowed to have. Well, I mean, did credit card? Yeah, this was credit cards.
No,
didn't
they didn't
exist
have
by
credit
this-
cards.
Yeah,
But
but like women weren't allowed to have
could've-
bank accounts or any
Yep.
of those things, and yeah,
Yeah, you would lose so many rights getting divorced. It was a punishment, and a mark against you, for any man who wanted to date you or marry you afterwards. I mean, in the Catholic Church alone, there used to be like warnings about dating and marrying already divorced women. Like I'm not like not even a joke.
I
Right?
mean, we literally got the King James Bible because somebody wanted to divorce his wife.
Yep, exactly.
Which is, I think it's so
Um,
funny that the King James Bible is often held up as like the one true version of the Bible, even though it's like the version that we know specifically was altered to cater to a person's whims.
Trust me. I could go on a tirade, not even related to the show, about that. But no, I mean, again, going back to my question though, is like, you can see now how many movies have been affected by this. How many shows, TV shows, Netflix series, movies have been made that have referenced or utilized, the different kind of cinematography that goes on into this movie in their own shows. I mean, shit, Mean Girls almost parodies this entirely to drive the plot point in two specific points in the movie, right?
yeah.
Like, the interview sections, fucking one for one almost.
Mm-hmm.
The Regina George one time, literally just this movie.
I'm trying to think of a way to like quote something from this movie. Like, quit trying to make Rosebud happen. It's never going to happen.
Right?
Yeah.
Exactly.
But I mean, I know we talked about it in the pre-show, but I mean, we have to talk about the cinematography. There were so many shots in this movie that I was just like, damn, that was a cool shot. That was a cool transition. That was a cool, like, the cinematography and the editing were just chef's kiss. Chef's kiss.
And now imagine you have no other conception about how transitions, how lighting, how scene setting could work.
Well, and then especially having to, like, I know that it's probably been talked about to death, and I think I've heard discussions of it, but the scene early in his life when they're discussing his future, and you can see him through the window playing, and everything is in focus. For 1940, that pulling off that shot was, like,
mind-blowing, right?
yeah. Like,
and imagine how mind-blowing it was for people watching it,
especially
right?
anybody who knew anything about camera focus.
Oh, for sure. And cameras themselves too. They used top-of-the-line cameras to film this. This was like one of the best quality film cameras you could have at the time being filmed for this film.
Yeah. I did a little bit of research. I don't normally do it, but I wanted to do a little bit of research on it. But like, they were literally cutting holes in the floor in order to get some of the low shots.
Yep.
And just doing another shot that I think was so impressive when you first meet his second wife, when it starts off like the outside of the building and then moves over and then like goes down through the hole in the glass and then goes down to her smoking at that table. I mean, it's like, it seems, I know it's not seamless, but it looks seamless. There's obviously seams in there, but the way that they pulled that off was, I mean, just incredible. There was one scene I know where like he was walking into a room and like continuing, like there was a cut that somehow kept him at the exact same spot, but now moving in the opposite direction because the camera was on the opposite side. It's just, I don't know. There's just so many little things like that that just really stood out to me. That is just like story and character and everything that aside, this movie is just good to look at.
Yeah, and a lot of that comes down to the I'm going to mispronounce this, the mise en scene, which is the concept in filmmaking of everything that is caught on camera is put before the audience for a reason.
Yeah.
And at the time, you can go back and watch a lot of films. It was very well structured, very inorganic scene setting for films and movies. And the way that Citizen Kane presents things is not as a set scene, but as if you're in the moment yourself watching it, right? Like you're watching a memory. You're watching it from that first person.
Yeah.
And this was such a fundamental genre and filmmaking concept that like there was a lot of critics, but a critic once said that this concept of changing it from a specifically set scene to a conceptual thought, right? A mnemonic memory of a person's perception, putting the control on the spectator to build the rest of the world rather than try to have them understand the world through the will of the filmmaker is going to shift how we make films in Hollywood, right?
Yeah.
And that's like so when we started the talk in the pre-record, I talked about how well received this movie was.
Mm-hmm.
And that's not actually true. At the time that this movie came out, French film was, like most French things, the premiere of their time. And a lot of the French critics at the time said this was uncultured American propaganda. And so it garnered this weird little tract of you know how critics work. When one critic says something, they all kind of start saying the same thing, right?
Yeah, but those critics are probably all paid off by William Randolph Hearst.
No, it was a cultural zeitgeist to say that anything came out of Hollywood was uncultured, unsophisticated, not worthy of the genre of film, right? And it took Andre Bazin, the guy who talked about what I just talked about, did this really long and passionate speech about how this film actually breaks every mold that we have, and in good ways, because we're all caught up in our fucking asses about what film should be, right?
Yeah.
And after his fucking speech, his fucking article, everyone was like, oh, maybe this isn't so bad. And I obviously went back and went through all these notes and did some researching for this movie, and I couldn't help but laugh because that's what happens today too. How many times have people said, oh, this movie's bad, oh, this movie's bad, oh this, and you go back and it's like one critic said this, but everyone starts parroting it, right? But then someone watches it and they're like, oh, this is actually fun, right? This is actually a good movie, right? I'm not gonna sit here and say what I'm about to say is accurate. Minecraft movie. Everyone's like, oh, this is a bad movie. This is so bad. It's still a fun movie. It's not breaking any molds like Citizen Kane, but it's still a fun movie.
I'm gonna have to go ahead and disagree with you about that one, but
I'm
trying to think of a movie. Okay, well, like my favorite movie of all time is a movie that was a box office flop and critically panned, and that is Clue.
Yep. Nope.
Another movie that was critically panned and didn't do as well as I thought it did, but it was a movie that was a part of my childhood and I love, and I think a lot of people love, is Hook.
Yep.
People said Hook was bad, and it's just like, what? Hook is incredible.
Yep, people called Hook derivative and disenchanted from its original story content. And I'm not using this as an example of like one example. I'm saying this as an example of a greater whole, and problem is that people give too much credit to critics and forget that critics are people too, who are beings of subjectivity like we all are.
Yes.
And a lot of times critics can miss what makes something so special in a movie. And in Citizen Kane's perspective, they missed a lot. Until, again, Andre Bazin came through and was like, hey guys, this actually is a really groundbreaking film. And it's such a special film because, again, I asked you, right, how many references did you realize were from this movie, and you said there were too many to count.
Yeah.
And it's true. It's fucking true.
I mean, The Simpsons is probably where I recognize most of the references
Oh, and
from.
that's because The Simpsons has been going on for so damn long.
But when
They've
you
had the
got,
ability to rip everything from this movie at some point.
well, and especially in those earlier seasons, you had Harvard graduates who had a love for film. So obviously,
Yep. And I didn't realize how much of earlier Simpsons did rely on audience knowing stuff ahead of time to make their
like
jokes land.
there is basically for the first 10 seasons, every Treehouse of Horror has one segment that's directly based off of a Twilight Zone episode.
Yep. And that carried over into Futurama, obviously, with their Tales from the Scary Door.
I mean, God,
Right?
Twilight Zone, to me, that's a show that has a lot of similarities to Citizen Kane as a TV show. Both black and white, both old, but also both way ahead of their time in terms of what they did and telling stories that are, I mean, like, I think about it like now, just like The Inquirer being basically ending up a propaganda piece to just put forward the viewpoints of its owner. Like, that is so today. But I mean, that's...
Oh wow, look at that CNN. Oh, look at that Fox News. No, it's just, again, there's no piece of media this day and age that has not, through some derivative form, taken inspiration from Citizen Kane, whether it be scene setting, filmmaking, acting cues, directing cues. It's such a transformative piece on American cinematography and the general wide audience of cinematography that it takes quite a doing to not accidentally do something that wasn't done in Citizen Kane.
Yeah. And Citizen, I mean, the movie, it's just like, yeah, the sound was good. I've seen some of the older movies I've seen. I don't think the acting is very good. I thought the acting was great in this. And the makeup, oh my God. Like, to realize that, like, Orson Welles, like, young Charles Foster Kane is what he actually looked like, and all the middle-aged and older one, it's like, the old age makeup it's
realistic.
It's so good. It looks like he looked like the same person but at 50. Like,
groundbreaking for the time.
And there are some other movies that did a lot of the things that this did before it, but the way that it took things and combined them and structured them, like, imagine that some people, when they saw this, it was like basically seeing a movie for the first time again.
I would pay good money to be able to transport myself into the brain and mind space and the knowledge of someone from the time seeing the movie for the first time, just to experience that, just to understand how that felt. Especially when, again, I've watched so many movies in my life, and there's no chance for me to be able to, like, forget all my movies just to watch this once, right?
Yeah.
I mean, even here, like, the shots of the city. Right.
Well, this right, like, here is that was the shot of the warehouse. That warehouse shot at the end showing all of his stuff.
Warehouse. Sorry, I said city.
I'm like, Raiders of the Lost Ark.
Yep.
the warehouse shot at the end of Raiders of the Lost Ark is taken from Citizen Kane.
Absolutely.
I mean, for all we know, Charles Foster Kane. No, maybe that's the same warehouse. Maybe Indy, because that's about the same time period.
Very possible.
When does Raiders take place? Is it 1930? So this would... but it depends on when it is, because a lot of this movie takes place in, like, the 10s and the 20s. 30s. I mean, depending on, like, when he first opens the Inquirer, what is that? Is that the 1910s? And then...
no, it's a little bit past that. Because he dies in 94. Yeah, Hoster said he dies in 1941. So it's like...
So how old was he?
Yeah, I think in 1910s. Yeah, I think 1910s, because the Inquirer is around for, like, what, 30?
Yeah. So,
yeah, so that checks out.
Interesting time technology-wise. We're a bit beyond the Victorian era, but, like, we're not quite at the point where... You know, that's where we first learned how to fly. When, like, I mean, you think about like an era where the Titanic was like the most modern, and I don't know. I think it's an interesting time period technology wise because like World War One and Two really gave us big jumps in technology. But like, I
I don't
don't know. I just think it's an interesting time period.
know. A lot goes into that time period.
Edwardian, they call it, I think.
It's kind of like modern day today, right? Technology grew at an accelerated rate because of the war. Luxuries were being introduced that were previously unthought of. And you know, they have their critiques too, but like,
I mean,
for us, our luxuries today are faster and faster computing with smaller and smaller storages.
well, like something like the internet, you know, being able, the fact that you and I on opposite sides of the country are able to pretend to be like the technology that's involved of what we're doing right now did not exist when I was born. I mean, computers existed, but there was no internet. There was like no webcams.
No, nothing.
Like
When I first joined the internet, the idea of talking to my cousin through my computer, who I played RuneScape with, was unheard of.
Yes, that was the AOL Instant Messenger sound I was trying to do. Yeah.
I don't know. It's such an incredible timepiece too, because it also kind of like informs us in a way of how things looked and felt back then, without stating it. That's what it was. Right?
When did
D-Day?
D-Day?
Like this weird.
When did D-Day happen? Or not D-Day. Pearl Harbor. When did Pearl Harbor happen? That was at. I know it's December 7th.
December 7th. There we go.
It's December 7th, but was that 1941 or 1940?
1941, I think.
So like, Pearl Harbor basically happened at about the same time. At about the same time this movie came out. So like this movie came out just before we entered World War II. Which is crazy to think. Because like they talk,
I think that does also, like, part of the damage that was done to it was like it felt like a propaganda piece against trying to rally America against, you know, politicians and stuff like that. Like, I think it was not Charles. I think it was you want to fuck your mom guy. What's his name? Freud, who called it a Marxist thought piece.
Ha. I don't think this movie is Marxist, but I think this movie doesn't like take a stance on whether Kane was a good guy or a bad guy. Like, I think it's kind of heavily implied that he is. I mean, I think they do definitely lean more towards Kane was like not a good person. Yeah. But I think they still said that he was still somewhat an aspirational person. But like, I don't think this movie is trying to paint Charles Foster Kane in a positive light. But I don't think they're also trying to portray him as a horrific villain either. I think they're trying to portray him as a complicated and troubled man.
Yep.
You know?
I think like at the time, I definitely think that Kane would have been seen as a bad guy, right? Multiple divorces, not great marriages. Yeah. Chose corruption, right? And I think our perspective, right? Some almost 100 years later, right, has shifted on these things, and we don't see Kane nearly as bad of a person as much as a average guy, right? And I'm not saying that what he's doing is good, and I'm not saying what he's doing is necessarily forgivable, but you know, I think people have a little bit less of a black and white nature about them than they did 80 years ago, right?
Yeah. Well, it's a story of how power corrupts people, you know? Like...
Okay. Yoda
never says power corrupts. I mean, he says similar things like, you know, power leads to the dark side.
I mean, that's the same thing. Basically the same thing.
You know, Yoda, if you actually watch the original movies, he doesn't really do that backwards talking that much. He only does it like a couple times, but most of the times he just talks normal.
Yeah, it's kind of the start of the sentence, and then it's fine from there. But that's off topic for what we're talking about right now.
Oh, talk about Star Wars. Just The New Hope, the original.
Another film inspired by Citizen Kane.
I just realized we could do a Twigs Missing Movies on a Star Wars movie. Because there's now one Star Wars movie I have not seen.
We're not watching. I refuse to watch Mandalorian and Grogu. We're gonna keep that one unwatched. I don't need to contribute to its money, or its existence.
We got to make sure that movie. Okay, you know what? I want to talk about a little movie that I saw over the weekend, but I know you haven't seen it yet, so I'm gonna try not to spoiler anything. But I feel like there's some parallels between Backrooms and Citizen Kane. Mostly in that, like, especially in how they were made. So I'm not talking about the movies themselves, but in how they were made. Because this guy that made the Backrooms movie, he wasn't in a Hollywood studio. He was just some guy making videos on YouTube. And he caught the eye of the right person who was willing to fund his movie. And then he got A24 to distribute it. And so this guy who was just like had the opportunity as a young, completely independent filmmaker suddenly had the budget to make the movie that he really wanted to make and was able to do so without having the big studios tell him how to do it.
Yep.
And Backrooms is beating Mandalorian and Grogu, and I think that's great.
I'm not shocked. In my opinion, Mandalorian and Grogu is always going to be a flop because I believe the Mandalorian is such a played out thing now. And it didn't play out in a good way, and it didn't play out in an interesting way. And it stopped being about a bounty hunter and started being about a family. And it sounds awful when you say it out loud, but bounty hunter in the Wild Wild West is much more interesting to me than, oh, here's found family, and also we have a Jedi in our midst.
Yeah, like I think they tried to go too much. They tried to tell too much story when really what would have been great is don't make it a serial show, make it episodic. Just have like
an anthology would have been much
an anthology show where it's just like each maybe you have 2-part episodes, you know. But just like shorter adventures but I mean, come on, an episode of Star Trek does it in 45 minutes. And also it's a streaming show, so just make it an hour. Just make an hour-long episode.
That's what I liked about season 1.
Yeah,
that's why I liked
an hour-long episode.
Episodic.
Yeah, hour-long episode, and you tell a story within that episode. And maybe you could have some. You want to have some overarching elements, kind of like you did in Star Trek Next Generation. Like you had some, like with everything with Worf that happens, and the Klingon Empire and the Borg. Obviously, so you do have some stories that go on, but they still most episodes you can just watch them out of order. For the most part, still enjoy it. That would have been great.
Yeah, and that's what I was really liking about season 1. But then they started introducing Baby Yoda, and everyone loved Baby Yoda. And we're so off topic.
We are so off topic. Citizen Kane, great movie.
We're so off topic.
Oh wait,
Citizen Kane, great movie. Twig. Let's move into our next section because I think we'll spend another hour at least talking about it, and we won't even get to what our some of our fun stuff.
Actually,
for this year,
I do have. I mean, I said great, but I do have actually a complaint and criticism of the movie.
Okay, go ahead.
I found it difficult to relate to or enjoy most of the characters in this movie. I didn't feel like this movie I don't know. It's just like I didn't feel like a strong connection to the characters. Like I didn't feel like I related to them. I feel like a lot of the characters is just like, some character is just like, oh, I love that character. Oh, that's a great character. Oh, he's a fun character. I didn't feel that about anybody in this movie.
Interesting.
I think Charles Foster Kane is, obviously because it's about him, he's definitely the most well developed of all the characters, and he's like the only one that I really feel. I think the character that I did like the most other than Kane was probably his second wife. I thought she was kind of interesting, But again, like, I didn't like love her character. I liked the story that happened to her. I thought they told a good story about her, but just as a character, it didn't really, I don't know, it didn't hit me that much. And then there was really nobody else that really, to me, stood out as, oh, that was a fun character. Like, I think the stories around the characters were still good, but I don't know. Am I expressing this eloquently? Probably not.
No, I got what you're saying. I find it hard to agree because I find all the characters compelling in their own way. I don't necessarily
Compelling.
care.
That's
if
the
I
word
connect.
I was searching for, but couldn't think of.
Yeah, I don't connect with them on an interpersonal level, but I find them compelling in their own way. Right? They're all people
Mhm.
in a relatable way, right? You know, and I think that's important to remember too, right? Is that like this isn't a movie meant to make heroes or villains out of everyone. It's a movie to talk about things that are going on in our lives, right?
Yeah.
Beware the newspaper publicist who starts shifting his tone and his message to benefit himself, right? Beware marrying multiple times, right?
Jeff
and so on.
Bezos is running for president.
He's
I don't
the
know
Citizen
when
Kane.
he's going to do it. I mean, he bought the Washington Post and turned it into a propaganda rag.
Yep.
Fuck Jeff Bezos.
Yep.
Wait, am I allowed to say that on Twitch?
Yeah, I don't think he cares. I don't even think you know this exists.
Yeah.
I don't think he cares.
Yeah.
He makes so much damn money, guys.
I am nothing to him. He's like, yeah,
right,
whatever.
Let's now that I have your complaint in hand and I can hold on to that forever. And never utilize
not
it
a complaint,
future episode.
More of a criticism, but yeah.
I get it though. I would label that under a subjectivity complaint more than anything, but I think it's valid. I think it's valid to not find any of the characters particularly compelling in a way that modern characters might be. I see where you're coming from. I guess I've had a little more time to think on it, so I find them compelling in their own ways. Right?
Yes. Anyway, Kane
let's go.
This happened.
Predictions.
This happened.
Kane is adopted. Yep. That's a green.
I don't remember much about. I know there was like a little short bit about his education, but I don't remember if he did super well in class. Did I get this right? I don't remember.
I want to say he did well enough. So yellow, but not villain.
Yeah,
no,
like it maybe mentions that
valedictorian.
like, and Kane graduated third in this class or something. Like there might have been just like a quick headline like that, and that's all it was. I don't remember. Yeah, really, yeah.
No, he's not. He's not.
So, like, they don't really mention this at all, so I probably have to give it a red.
Yeah.
He does marry young, but I wouldn't say his wife was a big part of his rise to glory. More, it was his rise to glory that interfered with his wife. Because as he got more and more interested in the Inquirer, he grew more and more distant from his first wife. So, he does marry young, but his wife is definitely not a part of his rise to glory. So I think I deserve a yellow on this one. Would you agree?
Okay.
Because of the Mary's young part.
I would say.
Yeah.
I would say yellow because he has obviously multiple wives, right? And
yeah.
Each one affects his rise.
I did not predict the second wife.
No, you did not.
No, he's never elected to U.S. Senate. And in fact, I also thought maybe president, but no, he was... I mean, president was definitely down the line for him if he became governor. But he didn't become governor, and he didn't run for the U.S., so that's a red.
Yep.
Presidential run. Okay. So this one here, can we just change it to the gubernatorial run because there was an election? Can we treat this one as if it was correct about being president, but it's just governor? Because it's kind of based off of the last one.
I would say yellow. I would give you a yellow because you did say presidential, but I understood what you meant by it being a.
I mean, I could have just said
election.
campaign. I could have just put the word campaign here. But
yeah. And it would have been the same effect.
Yeah. But yeah, it's not directly the cause of his wife, and I mean, he does lose some friends over it, but that's not the final straw for him. So I agree that yellow is.
Yeah, I'd say yellow.
Good. I mean, he'll lose his bid for U.S. president. Again, I think I should get green on this one because it is based off of, you know what I mean? Like, just his bid for office. You know, you change one word to be a synonym, and it's correct. And he does die rich and alone.
That is true.
So that is 1, 2, 3, 4. Oh, 3.5, 4. So,
that's.
Wait a minute. Do I have 7 here? 1, 2, 3, 4.
No,
5,
1, 2, 3, that's 1, 2, 3, 4 out of. And you get 50%. Sorry to say, but you only got a 50%. But all things considered, I think.
All things considered, that's an NPR show.
This is true. I think if you had gotten, the presidential, again, the presidential run thing is just synonymous with gubernatorial races, right?
Yeah.
So I think it's passing for what it is, right?
Yeah.
With your predictions being said, though, Twig, where would you rate this movie on your little listy list?
Where is it? There it is. It's at the bottom. All right. Just keeping it there for a sec. I'm not. It's not there. It's not painful. It's going higher than that. I just wanted to pull it up. So this is not the #1 movie on the list for sure. I think one of the big aspects of it is this a movie that I definitely want to watch again and possibly again and again? Like, I'm definitely going to watch K-Pop Demon Hunters many more times. Escape from New York, I'll definitely want to see again. I don't know if I need to watch Citizen Kane again, but I wouldn't be against watching Citizen Kane again. If somebody else really wanted to watch it, I would happily watch it with them, but I don't think it's a movie I'm going to particularly seek out to watch again. Does that make sense?
No, and I'm right there with you again. If we hadn't brought this up as a movie, I probably never would have watched it again in my life.
Yeah.
Right? On my own.
So I'm actually going to put it between Kaguya and Normal Heart. Because nope, I'm going to it feels wrong to put Citizen Kane behind a Hunger Games. I'm going to put it here. I think I would put it above Hunger Games and Kaguya. But Hunger Games is the Citizen Kane of young adult fiction-based movies. And Princess Kaguya, I think, is Studio Ghibli's most artistically beautiful film.
Agree. It's up there, man.
So this is the final tier of season 2 movies, with me putting K-Pop Demon Hunters at the top and Minecraft at the bottom.
And I do want to take a moment, though, to kind of talk about some of the movies we didn't cover in 2025 that we've talked about on the film.
Okay, we're going to come back to this tier list, but I know what you're talking about. And fucking made a PowerPoint, buddy.
You made a PowerPoint. Twig and I, we convened a little bit offsides, and we wanted to mention some movies that came out in 2025 that we both had watched and wouldn't be able to cover on the show because we had watched it already.
So we're starting with me.
Yeah.
So I had Frankenstein. Ow! That Rodney was coming slowly at me. Anyway, that peanut was much faster than Rodney. I didn't see that coming. Anyway, Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro's passion project, a movie that he's wanted to remake for a long, long time. And he put his heart and soul into this movie. He built all practical sets in what I think is probably like the coolest set design I've ever seen in like a horror movie. Like the set design is so good. Oscar Isaac is so great. The actor whose name I can't remember who plays the monster is so great. I have nothing but positive things to say about this movie.
It's fantastic. It's a fantastic movie. I mean, my only criticism comes to the fact that it goes so far off base with some of the characters, but I think it does so in a very interesting way that I can forgive it.
I really liked Christoph Waltz's character.
Oh, for sure. None of the characters annoyed me, and none of the characters had anything that I had to like critique. Besides, this isn't the character that I read about.
I saw a criticism of it. The woman's name is Elizabeth, right?
Yeah, Elizabeth.
Yeah. So somebody said that they rank movies on how woke they are. It's like a right-wing asshole did that, and he rated this one low because he found it unrealistic that a woman from this era would be interested in science. And it's like, bro, you don't think a woman from that era would be interested in science? Who do you think fucking wrote the book?
Yeah.
A woman.
Yeah.
Interested in science.
Yeah. That's all you need to know about how chuddy some of these people actually are. They have no concept or knowledge about things.
Yeah.
It's god-awful, man. It's god-awful.
It's, yeah. Right. All right, next movie. I know you didn't care for it too much, but Sinners I thought was the most fun I had in movie theater in a long time, and I love this movie so much.
I won't fault you for that. I won't fault you for that opinion.
I mean, look, we don't need to talk much more about this because just go back and watch our episode on it.
Yeah, go watch our episode about it, guys.
Yep. Go watch our episode about it, guys. I mean, K-pop Demon Hunters. I mean, what can we say about K-pop Demon Hunters?
Well, I don't even think this is a surprise to anyone. Anyone who watched that movie, anyone who I can't imagine anyone hating this movie except for people who don't like animation or people who don't like fun. That's it. I'm gonna say it. If you don't like this movie, you don't like fun.
The music is like a sensation. It
literally topped Taylor Swift's new album.
Yeah, I mean, and I've seen so much K-pop Demon Hunter stuff since I watched
thought you were about
it.
To say porn for a second. I was
well,
like,
no. After I watched it, there's been so much K-pop Demon Hunter stuff that I've seen and interacted with and watched after we did that episode up until now. So it's just like. Yeah, like it was a cultural ride, and I got on board.
On culture and movies would be an understatement.
Yeah, it's just a shame animation takes so long, and so it's going to be a while before we get the sequel.
Yeah.
I really want a good Mira song. Actually, I think Mira and Zoe need to each have their own songs in
100%.
But yeah, we loved it. Next movie. This was the most fun I've ever had in theaters watching a horror movie. I think in terms like I like Sinners more, but I think Weapons was the most fun movie I watched last year. It starts off with a really interesting, really fun premise. The tension builds, the mystery builds. And then one of the characters makes an exclamation after something really, really weird happens. And then after that, that was all going up to the top of a roller coaster. And then that line by that character, you're now on the roller coaster ride. And it is a friggin' blast all the way up until the end. And it has, I think, the most satisfying and fun ending I have ever seen in a horror movie. I fucking love this movie.
Yeah, no, I really liked it. I truly, really liked Weapons.
I mean, I'm trying not to spoil anything. Like, I don't want to talk spoilers on any of these movies because I recommend them highly. If you haven't seen Weapons, go see it. I know it's a horror movie. It's not really it's not really that scary, and there's a couple bits of disturbing imagery, but they're quick, and but I don't think it's super scary. Give it a try. Give it a try. And like Dre, you're not big on horror, and you liked it.
No, I'm not. So here's the thing. I'm not big on horror in the sense that I don't like going to see a movie that is basically just gore porn.
Yeah.
I'm big on horror that does really good. I say that unironically while I say that Hellraiser is one of my favorite movies, horror movies. But there's a balance that needs to be struck for me in horror movies between actually horror and not just someone's fetish, right?
Yeah. Like I don't like the Terrifier movies where Art
and
the
it's just
Clown
murder,
is just
right? A good example of this, and we'll go into this too once we go over mine as well, is that anyone who's seen Iron Lung this year, it does Eldritch horror the best in a film adaptation that I could ever hope for.
We'll talk about that in a little bit on your list.
We will.
We
will. Sorry, I got ahead of myself. Do your last one.
Well, my last one's also on your list, but it's Mickey 17.
I love Robert Pattinson.
Robert Pattinson is so good. Steven Yeun was also in it, was also really good. Toni Collette and Mark Ruffalo as the couple. Oh my god. Like, just phenomenal performances from everybody in it.
Fantastic movie plot too, and it's
a sci-fi
funny,
it's a sci-fi black comedy.
It's a sci-fi black comedy. It's got some horror and creepy elements to it. It's got good ethical questions to ask as well, right?
Yeah.
And obviously it has its satire too of modern things, and Mark Ruffalo sells his bit so well alongside everyone else in the cast. If you haven't seen Mickey 17, take the time and go watch it.
Yeah,
I watched it on a plane, and I kind of regret watching it on a plane. I want to rewatch it on a bigger TV.
I think Mickey 17 was the hidden gem of 2025.
I would agree with that. I think a lot of people slept on it. Because it didn't get nearly talked about as much as other movies.
Yeah. Yeah, every other movie, it's the least popular of these 5 movies that are up here.
Yeah, and that's saying something.
Yeah. All right. Dre's picks.
All right. I don't know what you put up in what order.
Frankenstein. Already talked about it.
Okay, so, yeah, Frankenstein.
Should I go back? Can I just say one more thing about Frankenstein?
No. Go back to Frankenstein. I like Frankenstein not just from not like I said. I didn't like how they changed the story, but I think they do well with the story. I like how they tell the story, and I really, really, really love the art in the film.
Yes.
The color, the scenes, the costumes. Every scene has a palette that is distinct, and you can tell that they're writing a story with the colors.
Yeah,
right?
Most beautiful movie of the year, absolutely.
Most beautiful movie of the year. The costuming is so fucking good.
Impeccable.
The monster makeup is so good. The scenes where they have the practical effects for the dummies is typical Guillermo del Toro's signature puppetry, man. It's gorgeous.
Yep.
And then my next film, probably one not a lot of people heard about.
I did not
it's called
hear about it myself. Yeah.
Monte Cassino. It's a war movie. It's about a little baker that gets separated from his family during the siege of Monte Cassino, and it's about him navigating the landscapes to kind of try to reunite with his family despite the horrors of war in World War II. It is definitely a genre film, so if you're not a fan of war films, you're not gonna like this movie. But if you like war films and you want a perspective that's not just, oh, I'm a spy, oh, I'm a soldier, oh, whatnot, and you want the perspective of someone who's just an average everyday Joe, this movie is for you. I'm not gonna sit here and say it's the best cinematography I've ever seen, but it was compelling, and it did make me cry, and it did, it made me feel things, and I think that's ultimately the goal of movies, right? Talking about hidden gems. This is a hidden gem because it really got no fucking marketing. The only reason I heard about it was because my little brother told me about it.
I didn't know about it until you told me about it. I'd never heard of it.
Yep. Worth watching if you guys can find a way to watch it. And my next movie, what'd you put down?
You're all I can think of. Every drop I drink.
We didn't talk about this.
It is just
I
K-pop.
still listen to the soundtrack. I still hear it on the radio every time I get excited because I'm like, wow, there's that thing that I love so much. And as anyone who knows me, I love musicals, so it's just, of course, right? Of course.
But
I've watched
my
it
thing,
at least 20 times.
My thing is, I wish it wasn't so golden centric. I wish everything wasn't so golden centric. All but one performance I've ever seen them do live was golden. And it's just like, you have other songs. And also like,
and they finally did them live, and it was great. It was fantastic. I was so happy.
Like I think to me like the song of Huntrix is How It's Done, because that song is a great song, but it demonstrates all three of them kind of equally and shows each of their strengths within the music. You get some really good rapping in it, and it really is about the group and who they are, and like, to me it feels like this is a Huntrix song, whereas to me Golden feels more like just a Rumi song.
Yep, and that's entirely the point. Golden is presented as a group song, but it's actually really about Rumi.
Yeah.
And that kind of goes back to how Huntrix falls apart, is that everything is falling apart because of Rumi, one way or another. And she is the main character, both in a positive and a negative sense. And how her main character syndrome has affected her friends, and that's why like the strong songs are the songs that they all do together, not the songs that focus on Rumi and her, right?
Yeah.
And that's why at the end, right, with their final song they do right before they end the movie,
This is what it sounds like.
Yeah, this is what it sounds like is the best song, in my opinion, that they all do together, because it's them coming together and actually all having equal parts in the song.
Yeah, now we're Golden, where it's just like, all right, Zoe, you get your line. Okay, Mira, you get your line. Okay, we're done with you.
And the rest are me!
Go away.
All right, next.
Yeah, next. Iron Lung. Markiplier's foray.
Project.
Yeah. Foray into filmmaking. I'm not going to call it his masterpiece, because maybe he's got another movie that'll really make him, like, this might just be like the little indie one that had niche interest but wasn't huge, and maybe his next one goes huge. And that'd be his masterpiece.
As a going back to my conversation about my topic about how I'm very picky about my horror, Eldritch horror is my favorite type of horror, especially when I don't know what the monster looks like, ever, right? And I'm not sitting here and saying that the monster designs in Iron Lung were bad, and I didn't like them. I thought they were really cool, really freaky, really creeped me out, gave me nightmares in a positive way. But I think movies need less focus on monsters in horror, right? Especially when you're like, this is an Eldritch horror. Okay, cool. Don't show me what it looks like ever, right? Because it's about the unknown. It's about the inconceivable, horrid nature of this being that we literally break when we look upon it, right? That is what traditional Eldritch horror is. It's not just tentacles. It's not just teeth or eyeballs. It's an indescribable monstrosity that literally tears us apart on a physical and mental level when we think about it or see it. And Iron Lung delivers that until the end. And I think the way that they show the monster in the movie is very well done. I am forgiving of that. The monster design is very good. If you haven't seen Iron Lung, please go watch it.
Okay.
Not just to support Markiplier.
I haven't seen it.
Go watch it. Go watch it.
Okay.
Now.
Okay.
Now.
Well, I can't right now. We gotta finish the episode.
Yeah, we should watch it together though. I would watch it with you.
Well,
if you want.
let's just get to the next one because we still.
Okay, yeah, let's get to the next
Mickey
one.
17. We talked about Mickey 17. We like it.
Talking about Mickey 17. Everything I said on when Twig had on his list applies here as well. The shots.
All right.
I want to talk though a little bit about the cinematography of it. All the shots were fantastic shots.
Yes.
You really knew who the character of the focus was in the scenes, and you really knew what the director was trying to show you in those shots, and it was great.
Shots.
Shots.
Okay. Now is here where we do some reevaluations.
Mm-hmm.
This is I wasn't gonna move anything around. It's like I was gonna put Citizen Kane, but now would I move things up or down on the list? Now that I've had some time to think about it. And yeah, I think there are a couple movies I'm going to be moving. There's a couple movies I'm going to be moving. The more I've thought about Tales from Earthsea, the more I'm like, this does not hold up as a Studio Ghibli movie. It's a fine movie, but I don't think I'm ever going to watch it again. And as an expectation for a Studio Ghibli movie, it actually really let me down. I think it's the worst Ghibli movie I've seen. And so I'm going to move it down to I didn't like it. At the top of didn't like it, but still and didn't like it. And G-Force, the more I thought about it, the more I thought, God, that movie actually was just really dumb, and I kind of hated it. So I'm moving G-Force down to...
Painful?
No, I'm going to put it above Mean. I'm going to put it above Mean Girls. But there. It's been taken out of dumb fun. Obviously, I would move Troll 2 and Sinners, but those were your choices.
Well, I wouldn't say they were my choices.
Well, they were
so much as
where they go on this. What I meant for choices was where they are on the tier list is your choice. That's what I meant. Your choice to put them where they are. That's what I meant when I said choice.
Fair.
Would you move either of them?
No, because I would keep them in the category. I was actually talking to one of my coworkers the other day about Sinners. I was like, yeah, it's a movie that I think is dumb fun, but there are too many plot holes in it for me to like forgive it and make it any better than it is. And that's after a rewatch.
Okay, well, then I don't think I would move anything else on here. I think I'm pretty kind of happy with it. You know what? I think I was really hot on Hunger Games at the time, but I think I would put Kaguya in front of Hunger Games.
That's fair. I just think the art in Kaguya makes the stories so much better.
Yep. And now,
no, go ahead.
No, you finish your thought. You finish your thought.
No, I was just gonna say that I watched the Tales of the Space Princess Kaguya film, and it wasn't nearly as moving as the Ghibli one was.
Yeah. All right. Now we're gonna rank all the season 1 films onto this list and see where I would. Now this is all my pure choices right here. So it's like, where would I put this and where would I rank it? 13 Ghosts, I'm going to put between Footloose. I mean, 13 Ghosts is dumb fun. I mean, how can 13 Ghosts be anything other than dumb fun?
You're not watching that for a serious horror film. I'm sorry.
Casino, more than I thought about it, didn't like it. Dirty Dancing.
Damn, sorry, Bentai.
Dirty Dancing, didn't like it. Dirty Rotten Scoundrels.
Even though we goofed it.
Dirty Rotten Scoundrels was dumb fun. I'm going to put it behind Footloose, though. I think that's where it goes in dumb fun. Ghost in the Shell goes and liked it. I'm going to put it... put it right there. That's fine. Girl Interrupted was not really dumb fun. I think I put it at the bottom of liked it. Nah, I don't think I'd see it again. I'm going to put it down and didn't like it. No, Romeo and Juliet is definitely more painful than Minecraft. Grave of the Fireflies belongs right up with Normal Heart and Perfect Days, where they're like... It's like Normal Heart. This is very much like Normal Heart, where both Grave of the Fireflies and Normal Heart are phenomenal movies that are absolutely devastating to watch.
Yeah, they're absolutely gonna tear your fucking heart out if you're not careful.
But I'm gonna put Grave of the Fireflies over Normal Hut because I like animation. How to Train Your Dragon 2, I'm gonna do it. I liked it. Behind Legally Blonde though. Interview with the Vampire to me, I think was dumb fun. I'm gonna put it there between Spider-Man and Troll 2.
Okay.
Jade Warrior, didn't like it. I really didn't like that movie, but it wasn't.
That aged like.
You know what?
fine.
I actually did think the movie was kind of painful to watch. It was just. Sorry, Flork. I love you, Flork. Love your comics.
Bro was pulling out his ass for that one. I tell you what.
Yeah. I think Flork would be fun to have on again.
Yeah.
Klaus. Top of the list. Klaus is my favorite movie that we have watched on the show, hands down. And it is a movie that I will watch it every Christmas now. It is now mandatory viewing in December.
Valid.
And I cannot say that
right
any other
you.
movie we've watched that to me is going to become mandatory viewing yearly. Like
Rocky Horror.
I need to watch that again. We should watch that again.
Rocky Horror.
And we should watch it and just have fun with it. Yeah, we
should watch it.
We should have like on
watching season,
like on your Discord or something. Just have a little watch along.
Yeah. We'll manage. We'll put it together.
Yeah. So yeah, Klaus has to be number one there. Late Night with the Devil, you might think is just a perfect dumb fun movie, but I loved this movie so much. I'm gonna put it right there.
I still think about it.
I
still think about it.
It's so good. I've watched it again a couple times, and I like it. It's rare that I rewatch a horror movie, and I've seen this movie 3 times now.
Incredible.
Yeah, it's so good. Madagascar, kind of didn't like it.
Damn.
Well,
Boys,
the list was
like our jokes.
The list was made for this guy, so I guess that's gone down there. Mars Attacks. I really, really like Mars Attacks, but it is just dumb fun. I think it's the pinnacle of dumb fun. It is the example of dumb fun.
For sure.
Megamind is kind of low-tier dumb fun. You know, for what it was, you know, it's a fine DreamWorks movie. It's a fine DreamWorks movie. My Dinner with Andre is going in. I liked it. I think I'm going to put it... Actually, I'm going to put it at the top of I liked it. I really liked Dinner with Andre. And I really, really liked our discussion with Crotar about it.
I agree.
Pirates of the Caribbean movie was dumb fun. Kind of, I'd say just below Interview with the Vampire. The absolute worst movie we've ever watched on the show. I fucking hate that movie so much. I'm sorry. I know you love it. I know I'm hurting other people by saying it. I just found that movie agonizing. I don't like opera. I don't. I'm sorry. I don't.
The Way You Hurt Me is immense and powerful, and it hurts sometimes. It hurts sometimes hearing the things you have to say, but I have to accept them that that's your opinion, and I can't fault you for your opinion, but I can think that your opinion is dumb and stupid and childish, and you're a neenerhead, and you don't know what fun is, and you hate good music.
It's hurting me.
And
what do you mean? I don't hate good music. I love good music.
You hate good music. Only theater kids get it, Mom. Real.
Rocky Horror. Where do you go? Because, like... Ooh. Rocky Horror does kind of feel like... I think I'm going to put it here because Rocky Horror feels on par with Mars Attacks for a movie that is just dumb fun. Rocky Horror, I guess, I mean, as a whole, looking at it like, okay, this is not top-tier filmmaking, but it doesn't matter because you're having so much fun. Like, I'm not going to say that it's like, it's just, the movie is just fun. It's just fun. And, like, the rest of it doesn't need to be good because it's fun. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I gotcha. But you would
Ah!
watch it again. But you would watch it again.
Oh yeah, and I will watch it again.
Yeah, okay.
Probably many
I just want to
times.
make sure that's clear. Yeah.
Birdcage is. I kind of put it like. I think I put it ahead of Dirty Rotten Scoundrels, but it's I feel the same about. I kind of feel the same about those two movies, and this is like, yep, they were decent comedies, but still kind of their time, and you know, worth watching, but you know, they're fine, they're good, they're fun. Last Unicorn, I didn't really care for it. I kind of put it. I think I'll put it ahead of Tales from Earthsea.
It's just so sad.
I think there's some people that would be very upset if I put Last Unicorn behind Tales of Earthsea, and I can't do that. Last Unicorn is better. Does have a titty tree. Does have a titty tree. Love that titty tree.
We all love a good titty tree. Who doesn't
and I
love
didn't
a good
love the
titty
rest.
tree?
I didn't love the rest of the movie, but goddamn it, I love that titty tree.
That titty tree is me, if you ask.
The Mummy was dumb fun, but it was good dumb fun. I'm gonna put it. Well, I put it behind Sinners, but I know you put it above Sinners. So.
Yeah.
But it's my list, so I'm putting it there.
Yep, you're allowed to.
They Live. I didn't like it, but it was the best of the didn't like it's. Like, I still appreciated a lot of things of it, but it's still just... It's right on that border of liked it and didn't like it, but... And I know it's got some things that are dumb and fun in it. I mean... Alright, I'm putting it at the bottom of dumb fun. Because there are a lot of things about it that are kind of... I mean, the 5-minute long fist fight with, you know, between those two guys in the alley is kind of iconic.
Absolutely.
And then lastly, we have a fucking Twilight movie. You can hang out. Oh, yeah, it's definitely worse than Mean Girls. Yeah, I'm putting it at the bottom of didn't like it. But it wasn't quite painful. It wasn't quite painful. It was bad, but not painful bad. Okay, so there's the list at the end of season 2. Soak it in,
That is such
folks.
a long list. This is going to get harder and harder to do every year.
Well, this was our 49th episode, so we're going to be starting season 3 with episode 50.
Hey!
Movie and guest to be determined.
Yes.
All right, it's late. This has been our longest episode by far. So thanks for watching, everybody. We're gonna get our butts on. Whoa! Don't open in that window. Don't open in that window. Oh.
Don't do that.
Oh,
Did we just get
gotta
doxxed?
go to.
Did we just get doxxed?
Doxed. Yeah, we just got doxed. We just saw. We're gonna. Oh wait, Usu's streaming. We always go to Usu. Usu is friend. If I've eaten sushi with you, you're at the top of my raid list.
That's a fair thing.
So, anything upcoming on your schedule people should know about, Dre?
Nope. My schedule is currently still in flux. I am taking on a second job and moving to part-time with Best Buy here soon. So when I can stream is very up in the air at the moment. But I'll keep everyone apprised.
Yes. I said I was going to be doing the Bird Zoo tour, but I've encountered a glitch where the game will only load in the lowest resolution textures. And so if you get even anywhere remotely close to something, it looks like complete ass. And I wanted to do my tour of the zoo from the walking thing, and I went down into that mode, and everything looks like ass. It's like walking through a PlayStation 2 game. It's that bad. And I can't figure out how to fix it, and if I can't fix that glitch, I can't do the walking tour. and it feels like I spent 50 goddamn hours on a zoo that I am incredibly proud of, and I can't do a walking tour because it looks like ass. It's kind of heartbreaking, man.
It hurts on the inside.
It's on the inside. So we're gonna go right to a zoo, and we're gonna have yourselves a great night, and we'll see you in a few weeks. It's gonna be like the 5th of July before we could possibly stream.
Yeah,
again.
we're basically the rest
I'm gonna
of
be
this
out
month is off
next 2
for us.
weekends. I'm out of town, so maybe we'll do some weekday Corvus Creepers and Conspiracies. We'll see.
All right.
Corvus Creepers.
Thanks for coming by, everybody.
We're gonna go get a zoo. So many movies, no time to watch them all. But Twig wants to see them, so he gave the Twig a call. Now he's bringing on your friends, and together they will view these. So